everyone, and welcome back to Voices of Dental AI, where we explore how technology and human leadership are transforming modern dentistry. Today's guest is someone who doesn't just adapt to change, she creates it. Melissa K. Turner, known online as the Tooth Girl, is a global thought leader, one of my favorite people, brand strategist, and the creative force behind the Denobi Awards, countless other initiatives that celebrate innovation and leadership in our profession. She's helping shape Dentistry's next chapter, one that blends technology, creativity, and culture. Melissa, my dear friend, it is so good to have you.
Well, hello, dear friend Lauren. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, you've built your career around, I would say, reimagining what's possible in dentistry. So, when you think of the role of AI right now, do you see it as just another tool or as a sign that our industry is shifting into something new?
I mean, see, here's the thing, and I'm going to be frank with you, Lauren, because I know you understand this. For years, I have been virtually preaching that dentistry is changing, right? And now, COVID, it threw us all for a loop. Mindsets changed. But even before that, we knew dentistry was changing. We knew technology would change. But now there is this almost renewed sense of urgency. Like as I'm sitting here, my stomach is like, okay, we've got to get going. We've got to get going. Like there is this renewed sense of urgency because of generative AI, what Trust is doing, what all these other companies are doing, how we use AI in our personal lives. To me, the urgency comes from a place where I don't want to see practice owners being left behind. I don't
Mhm.
want to see them struggling to survive. And I don't even know if this answers the question, but what I know is that if practice owners don't start to even take small steps to adapt, not just to
Mhm.
AI, but to how things have changed, then they are going to be left behind. And that's going to break my heart. It's going to totally break my heart. And I know we'll dive into what that means probably later. But like that's to me, it's just like even just in the last 6 months, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have got to help practice owners understand
Mhm.
how, if they don't take small steps now to adapt to the changing times, even this time next year, their bottom line is gonna start to really be impacted by lack of action.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's because that age old famous saying that we say in dentistry that just makes me want to pull my hair out, quite honestly, is this is how we've always done it. And that is the saddest thing that I've ever heard because it keeps us stagnant. It is not beneficial for our patients. It's not beneficial for our staff and anyone involved. And I think that if we just learn to start seeing this as a tool, start seeing this as something that's going to help us, it's going to help our patients, it's going to help us treat them more, treat them better, and evolve, everyone will be better for it. So I know that you speak on AI often, and I'd love to know some of the pushback that you get in more of like the Q&A. Like what are
Mhm,
people asking you? What are they afraid of? What are they saying isn't going to work or what they're not going to do?
mhm. The biggest thing is, will it take jobs away?
Mhm.
And, I have to be completely honest with that. Yes, it will.
Mhm.
But the footnote, the second part to that is it'll take jobs away, comma, and it will allow those workers to adapt to more human jobs, right? You know
Mhm.
this as well as I do. Like these
Yep.
jobs, these roles now that will need more of a creative mind, more of an empathetic human instead of a robot, talking with these patients and working them through their situations. And well, they don't really want to come in and pay that much for a crown, but if we have a human doing that versus, a robot, then those are the situations where then we can focus and thrive as teams. But
Mhm.
that's besides the point. It will take jobs away. We will need to adapt to it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take a person away from the team. Their job description, I believe, is going to morph and adapt, just like all of ours are doing. Even as a hygienist, it's my job description clinically today is not the same as it was 20 years ago when I started.
Mhm.
Right. So we just continuously need to adapt. So
Mhm.
that's the probably the most frequent question that I get. The second most frequent question isn't really a question, it's more of a blanket statement of, "Oh, I don't need that. I don't need that." And that's fine if you wanna think like that, you know? Um, and there's many times where I have said that. Even when the iPhone came out, I was like back in there, 2009, I'm like, "No, no, I don't need that. I will keep my flip phone for as much as possible," and then eventually I realized, "Okay, I need it," right? Or grocery delivery. We're talking about ordering groceries earlier. Last year, I started getting my groceries delivered.
Yep.
Before that, I was like, "I don't need that." No, why would I need that? I wanna go to the grocery store. I wanna brainstorm what to have. It's kind of fun to go. I wanna pick out my own food. And
Yep.
then once they started it, I was like, "Oh, good lord, like, now I understand." So, I think getting past that, I don't need that, um, it's a huge step, and I think that's where I kind of linger and I say, "Okay, you might not need it, but what if? What if? Let's just
Mhm.
think about it for a second. What if you do it? Or maybe you don't need it now, but let's talk about it again in 3 months." Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just like I feel like on the hygiene side of everything post COVID, what are we dealing with now? And it's like, oh, well, we're letting assistants or people off the street become dental hygienists. Everything's evolving. But I wouldn't necessarily say we're evolving in a forward motion. I would say we're going 40 years backwards, right? And it's amazing to me. God love our industry, but we're more willing to do that than to allow new technology that's going to take us further and make our jobs easier or let us evolve quicker as humans.
Mhm.
That we don't want. What do you
Mhm.
think about that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, thinking about evolution, I don't think it's ever linear. Think
Yeah.
about in my own personal life, it's usually cyclical and maybe a figure
Yep.
eight, and maybe I just go backwards for a long time. But I think for me, and I even said this, I was keynoting the other day, and I said, it was a career development course. And I said, as long as you keep moving, I think that's the most important part. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned being stagnant earlier. As business owners, if we are stagnant, that is the greatest threat to a
Mhm.
successful business. Even if we're moving in circles and it doesn't make sense or going backwards in order to go forward, that evolution, I think, is a work in progress,
I do too.
especially when it comes to business.
I do too. So, being someone in innovation and
Mhm.
leadership and creating your own brand and all the things that we love, what does it look like to you, or what do you think it looks like to lead through innovation, not
Mhm.
just adopt it or just, copy and paste?
I think one of my greatest strengths, one of my superpowers, which also ends up being my greatest weakness, but one of
Mhm.
my greatest strengths is I live at the intersection of tradition and innovation. And, that's where I am naturally in my own life. That's how I grew up. I respect the tradition. I respect where we have been.
Mhm.
And then let's figure out how this innovation can amplify or uh, do more in a positive note, with where we are. So
Yeah.
I don't even know what question you asked, but that's where I am sitting right now between innovation and tradition. And that's exactly where dentistry has been at least the 20 years I've been in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to all the different technologies that are emerging and actual AI, of course we have the beginnings of AI, which was more like technology that was static and it wasn't actually it's not adaptive, it's not continuously learning, right? It's more identification type of thing. So now that the more adaptive and LLMs and those types of AI that are coming out, where do you think it's going to help us the most? Like what barriers and pain points do you think if we let ourselves embrace it and we implement it into the office, what does that look like to you with your experience?
I usually equate it with the Industrial Revolution, right? That came
Mhm.
along, we all became factory workers. We thought that we
Mhm.
have to work to the bone per minute to make money, right? Or farmers, you have to, if you're not out there working to the bone, then you're not making money. And I think
Yeah.
we've taken that theory in dentistry. I see so many of my colleagues, so many of those who I look up to, so many business owners and dentists and hygienists bending over backwards, exhausting themselves, we know, to burnout
Mhm.
because they think that's how they will make more money, whether they are an employee or whether they own the practice. And so for me, when I see innovation, when I see AI, this is where I say, okay, it's not about hourly physical labor. It's not about the
Yeah,
factory jobs. It's about how can we maximize the human potential in this system? How can we create a system where humans actually thrive instead of being on a factory line? And that can, I mean, it's hard in dentistry. I love our industry and I get so frustrated with it because,
I know.
you know, we're just we're my mentor did it that way, so I'll do it this way too. Or people want to change, but we're stuck in the clinical chair, wet-fingered all day long, and there's no time to even think outside of that to strategize, okay, what's best for my business because this person's in the chair for 3 days a week or 5 days a week and they're just exhausted.
Right.
So it's this. I don't blame anybody for dentistry being a little bit behind the times. It's fine. I don't care about that. But I
Yeah.
want us to stop thinking that we're factory workers and create a system where humans can actually thrive because our patients going to feel it. They're going to understand. If we can connect with them more, if we have the space to connect with them more, they'll connect with us, and that's profit right there.
I think so, 100%, because at the end of the day, it comes out, right? Like what you're
Mhm,
saying. It's like if you didn't sleep well last night and you have, say you're a double column hygienist or a triple column dentist, on top of you didn't sleep well last night, and on top of then you were late this morning, and then you didn't eat, and your staff is frustrated, you're frustrated. I don't care who you are, it's going to affect how you treat your patient. And anyone that says otherwise, I don't think we're being very honest. It's fine.
mhm,
That's what you need to do. But when it comes down to the human level, we know, right? And it happens. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the job. But I think letting technology take some of that weight off of,
mhm,
at a minimum, it's helping us automate things that we don't need our hands on. We need to let go of the reins, as terrifying as that is,
mhm.
let go of the reins a little bit and let some of these things be delegated, right? I think in our industry, we're so terrified of delegating anything like it's going to be taken away from us. So why do you think that is?
I mean, I think most of us are just trying to survive. Clinical
I
work is
know.
hard work, right? So
Mhm.
we're trying to balance our home life, our work life. We're trying not to be too exhausted at work so we can come home and like hop in with the kids. And honestly, I think that's what it comes down to. If we can
Yeah.
get, it's Maslow's hierarchy, if we can get uh, dentistry out of survival mode, and it's only
Mhm.
gotten worse since 2008, the financial crisis,
Yep.
COVID made things worse. And now, I mean, we're just seeing change for better or for worse. And so if we can get out of survival mode as an industry, that's the answer.
Yeah. I don't think that we can keep going the way that we're going.
Mm-mm.
I think that this is a ticking time bomb in our
Mhm.
industry with the quote unquote hygiene shortage. As we know, there isn't a hygiene shortage. It's just hygienists are tired of operating the way we're operating. And we're trying to find other ways to adapt and evolve and survive, like you're talking about. And I think that if we keep going this route, something is going to happen that we might not be able to go back, right? And I don't wanna see that happen, just like I know you don't wanna see that happen. So, my hope is that once more of these technologies start coming out and, the benchmarkers that are gonna obviously implement it first kind of show how much it can help. Speaking of that though, so with the LLMs and the PMS and things like that are coming out, they're going to be able to verify insurance. They're going to be able to treatment plan. They're going to be able to scribe, right, and listen to your notes so that if you do get sued or if you do have a malpractice problem, you're documented very, very heavily, right? Or it's going to flag something to say, hey, if you build this code, it's not going to get paid, right? Things that we cannot know. So how do you think that's gonna help us, or what's your opinion on kinda letting the reins go and letting technology do things like that?
Mhm. Well, for me, it's always, as a business owner, I understand cash flow. I understand EBITDA. I understand having to balance whatever
Yeah.
sheet we're working on that day, right? So for
Mhm.
me, one of my and I'm trying to frame this in a positive note, but I don't know if I can. One of my frustrations with the business side of dentistry, of the dental practice is that it's not like an Amazon one click, right?
Mhm,
Not like patient buys it and the cash goes into the business's pocket right away. No,
mhm,
we somehow have ended up in a payer system where number one, we don't get the actual fee that we ask
mhm.
for. Number two, it doesn't happen until months down the road and we have to beg for it.
Yeah,
We have to beg for it.
yep,
So if there was, and then you're lucky. You're lucky if you get some kind of fee for the procedure that was done months ago, right? That
mhm,
that is a business model. And sometimes people ask me, would I ever own a dental practice? And I say no, simply because of that, unless I was just
yep,
straight up, fee for service. But
right,
I wouldn't, because the business model doesn't make sense. And so if we can pull in any AI tools to expedite that profit center, those transactions to get the money in the dental practice's pocket sooner,
yep,
those are the ones I would focus on, like
yeah.
immediately.
'Cause it's such a
Uh,
problem.
yeah, 'cause
Like, it's one of the biggest barriers. I agree with you. And in terms of we can't keep doing this.
mm,
This is not going it's worked for now, and it is rapidly not working anymore. I feel like I see on on the Facebook groups and where
mm,
everybody's like venting, we're all like trying to keep it together, all these things. There's so much about reimbursement and insurance and I'm making less than, my hairstylist makes to color my hair and like, how is this possible? And I'm just like, we can't keep going like this. We just can't. There has to be a better way. And I think that there is, but I think we have to be open to it at the same time,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and I think, the payers have a role to play. We have a role to
Mhm.
play, and I think there is a way where we could make it all work, but what I
Yeah.
really think is that everything needs to be thrown out and we start from scratch. That's
I agree with you. I actually do. And I think people are terrified of that.
I mean, I would be too. I am. There's no way I could
Yeah.
throw out my businesses and start from scratch, right? Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
do that. But I think, I was thinking about this last night, um, before I went to bed.
Mhm.
It's like dentistry right now in 2025, 2026. It's like we're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yep.
And it's not going to work
Mm-mm.
unless we throw it out completely and start over again. But that's not going to be possible. Let's be realistic. We're not going to throw
No.
out businesses and just start from scratch. Like, it's scary for one thing.
Yeah.
But I think that the best analogy I can give is, okay, as a business owner, find ways to shave down those corners on that square peg, right? Like,
Mhm.
let's try to make it fit little by little. Keep moving, take those small steps. Just what can I implement this month that's small, that,
Mhm.
is easy, just to kind of move forward. But yeah, square peg, round hole. And
Yeah.
I don't like even saying that because I don't want to be here. I want the industry to be thriving.
I know, but I think we do have to recognize it, right? It's like it is happening, but there is a way out if
Mhm,
we recognize that it's happening, right?
mhm,
If we keep going the way that we're going, it will be much worse.
mhm.
But if we can stop and be like, "Okay, this isn't working. It's okay that it's not working, but let's fix it." Right? And let's like you said, I love how you're saying like just a little bit at a time, right? We don't have to blow the entire industry up. But if we take little segments at a time or little implementations at a time, maybe like you're going fee for service or you're getting an AI receptionist or I don't know what it is, but implement something small in technology or AI, see how it helps you or maybe how it doesn't, and then go from there versus let's just write it off altogether,
Mhm,
right?
mhm. Yeah,
You
yeah.
agree with that?
It's
Yeah.
overwhelming and it's scary to even think about implementing one thing. But
Mhm.
I mean, what I've learned, what I've learned in life, that it is a choice to be brave,
Mhm.
and it's a choice to take a risk. And so, my advice to business owners and practice owners is, like, if you have a good moment where you're feeling really good for some reason, maybe you just had a glass of wine or something, like, use that moment to
Yeah.
be brave and to take that step to sign up for that platform, just, like, utilize those good moments because
Yeah.
otherwise it will be a struggle. Change management. I mean, it's change management 101. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think in terms of the AI leadership and the creative side of AI when it comes to being a creator like you are? You've created an incredible brand that people know and trust. How do you think that technology is just going to springboard that?
Mhm, mhm. Oh, I could take this in lots of directions. I'll take it in the direction of leader, business leader, industry leader. Um, I am the biggest fan of technology. I see the promise. It's one of the reasons why, I'm a part of the trust team,
Mhm,
and I am 1,000% on board with it.
mhm.
On the flip side, I am 1,000% cautious.
Yeah.
And I think that is the best way um, that I can kind of describe how leaders should and business owners should utilize technology.
Mhm,
Uh, like something as simple as if you take the influencer side of me, the tooth girl, right? There was a time years ago where I wanted every post to be perfect. I wanted every picture to look perfect. And then since 2 years ago, now everyone is a writer. They can write great posts, right? Because 'Cause they're using ChatGPT.
yeah.
Everyone is using AI for their photos. Everyone looks perfect. And so as soon as that shift started to happen,
Mhm.
I pulled back and I said, "Okay, I will never do that because I want to stay human. I
Yeah.
want to stay human. I want the nuances of my voice to come through on my posts.
Mhm.
Like if if you look at my posts, they're not perfect anymore. I'll add an extra period or an extra space or like spell it's wrong. Like things like that
Yeah.
because it's so important to me for people to understand
Mhm.
that to be a leader doesn't just mean you're maximizing technology. It definitely means that, but it also means it's a yes and situation
Yeah.
where you still stay authentically connected in a human environment.
Mhm.
That's why it's always important for me, you know, as an influencer, I will
Mhm.
always also have an in-person brand, and
Mhm.
hopefully they are aligned, but where I am going to people one-on-one at conferences and hanging out with them versus just behind a screen because we need that balance of
Mhm.
human nuance and just humanity in a sea
Yeah.
of generated perfect content.
I couldn't agree with you more. I experienced that myself, and even diving into the technology industry or the technology side of dentistry. I think the more that we embrace this, the more we're going to crave that human connection, right? It's like, I want to feel you and hear you. And I think the only way we can make sure that that human emotion and human energy stays in this is if we don't fully let go, right? It's like we do see it as a tool, and we're still the final decision maker as the clinician, as the influencer, as the business owner, whoever we are.
Mhm.
We still keep that part of it, right? It's like it's just meant to help you evolve. It's meant to help you see things that maybe you don't see or maybe you're not thinking of, whatever that might be. But I think we have to remain in that humanity mindset of people want to see this part. We can be perfect in some areas, but the beautiful thing about the human part of it is that we are chaos, quite literally. And when we show our chaos, everyone is like, "Oh my god, it's not just me that's chaos? You're also chaotic and a mess?"
It's
That's
that
great.
connection. Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. I don't feel as crazy. Right, exactly.
Well,
And
I think it's important to note too that, we're just, iPhone, I think it came out in 2009, right?
mhm,
Not that long ago.
yeah, something.
So we have swung so
Mhm,
far on the pendulum to one side where it's virtual everything, where it's technology everything. And
mhm.
then through COVID, now we're really virtual everything.
Oh my
You know,
gosh,
I
yeah.
I'm old enough that I remember life without the internet. Like, I'm aging myself there, but what I know is that we've swung so far because it's so new
Mhm.
that I feel like I even through the generative AI enhancements that we're having right now, I feel like
Yeah.
it's starting to come back and we're starting to understand that we need that human touch. The perfect thing is
Mhm.
with in-person dental events. There for a while everyone was like, okay, in-person events are going by the wayside, but no. They are
Yeah.
coming back in
Mhm.
full force. They're different, they've adapted, but they are coming back in full force. And I think that pendulum is coming back now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, I could talk to you all day and we could talk about every problem in the world, I think, more than likely. If you gave us both a mic and both a camera and you're like, we're going to fix the world, but we can't do that. So,
High
but
EQ.
it's like, let's do this. We can do this. But no, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And to me, you're the definition of what modern leadership in dentistry looks like. And I cannot wait to see how you help the industry embrace this from so many different avenues that you've created. And I just want to thank you. But please tell people how they can find you, how they can connect with you.
Well, Lauren, thank you. That means a lot. Best way to contact me, feel free to DM me on any platform, or you can
Mhm.
visit my website at melissakturner.com. You do not want to Google Melissa Turner. That will take you down some murderous rabbit hole. It's
Oh
melissakturner.com.
my God.
It's not me, I swear. Melissa K.
You're like,
Turner.
I'm going to find her and I need to know what happened
Yeah,
because,
it's an ongoing murder investigation. It's not cool.
oh my God. Okay. Email her, please, or Melissa K. Turner.
Turner.com.
All right. All right, guys. We will see you on the next episode. This is Voices of Dental AI. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for being here, Melissa.